Welcome everyone! Today we are going to be reviewing Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Freedom, full of spoilers.
Because it is going to be released this weekend on Netflix in English. So if you've been waiting to watch this film, check out this video now and see if Gundam Seed Freedom is the movie for you. Freedom! We did have a non-spoiler review of our experience watching Seed Freedom back in March in South Korea, which we'll leave in a card up above. But this video, we're just going to talk about the entire story, the characters, themes, music, things we liked, didn't like, and everything that we can to help you be prepared for what you're about to watch on Netflix. So let's start off with the opening scenes of the film. The film starts off with bubbles and a human body, and immediately I was thinking, oh no, like they're going to be introducing a new coordinator or, some type of newer version of Kira. Like that's what I thought the Freedom film was going to be premised around.
Right. But we were wrong. The movie continues with a battle scene caused by Blue Cosmos. Yes, they are back. The people who are against the coordinators have caused some kind of war to break out again. And Kira and Shin and Luna Maria, pilots that we've recognized in Seed and Seed Destiny, reappear to help the people.
There is a battle, and I really loved the theme song of Freedom, which was written by Toshihiko Sahashi, because it felt like a music video with the now Compass organization descending down to help the people of Africa fight off against the wave of Blue Cosmos soldiers. We see lots of Seed Destiny Gundams, such as the Destroy Gundam, and the Compass team, led by Kira, also have a lot of new kits. Kira's piloting the Rising Freedom. Atherin is not in Compass, so it was kind of odd. We learn later on that he was actually doing some undercover work within the Foundation's territory. But Shin is piloting the Immortal Justice.
Luna Maria is piloting the Gelgoog. And we have a new pilot who we haven't seen before, Agnes, who pilots the Gyanstrak.
While they're fighting, one of the themes that you kind of get introduced to is the team aspect, or like being able to put the weight on your own shoulders, which is what Kira does. He tells Shin and the others, like, oh, protect these people. We don't want to create any more damage. I'll take care of the front lines and, everything. And throughout the movie, you'll see this aspect of like 1v many, or, individuals believing that only they are able to help fix, solve, and, do the right thing. But it's not until later on when they realize the team is stronger and better, especially during like the final fight, or when Atherin comes to save Kira during their next battle. So I really liked how that was being introduced during this opening credits scene, and how it's played out throughout the film. What did you think?
Yes, I agree. Kira takes a role where he feels like he has to do everything on his own to fight for freedom for Lacus. And you could see in the beginning scene where he's telling the other pilots what to do, go help the civilians, go over there, do this, do that. Shin is clearly annoyed. He says, what? This again? Somewhere along those lines. So Shin wants to have that sense of teamwork. And he's not getting that from Kira. And throughout the movie, it's also seen that people are saying that Kira is basically a weak leader. He's not a good pilot. So he really needs to learn that it takes teamwork in order to fight for freedom, not on his own.
One of the things that also kind of foreshadowed what was going to happen to Kira when he gets brainwashed, mind controlled, was when Blue Cosmos revealed that their commander Michael, Michael,
Yes, Michael.
yeah, Michael, he wasn't there. The African troops started to become the aggressors and invade into the Blue Cosmos' territory. Kira slices like 5 or 6 of their forces, and it's all for the cause of no more violence, no more killing. We don't need to continue with the destruction and violence that in Seed Destiny Durandal was all about, with like the Destiny plan and only the those who are destined to survive and live on will. And so you see these flashbacks, which I think will help first time viewers to the Gundam Seed franchise. Like you'll definitely want to go back and rewatch Seed and Destiny to kind of fill in some of those gaps. But I think the film does a good job of like giving you lines of information to keep you semi updated with what's going on.
Yes, we do see those flashbacks of Destiny, the Destiny plan being told to others what the chairman wanted to do, and Kira being concerned of that happening again. But with this, in this movie, there's a new faction introduced, which is Foundation, and as you mentioned, the Black Knights are part of Foundation, which is led by a man named Orphe, who wants to continue the chairman's plan of the Destiny plan.
Yes, Orphe Lam Tao.
Yes, Orphe Lam Tao.
So after the battle, we're introduced to more of the main characters like Kigali. We gather more information about Foundation, the Destiny plan, and we've actually watched the film about three
times.
We've actually watched the film 3 times, and we just now noticed that there was a line where Kigali says that the strike Freedom was actually seized months ago. And when you look at the final big bad boss, the Calray A, which is piloted by Orphe and Ingrid, the blue-haired woman, it resembles the strike Freedom. And I think that's what Foundation tried to do. They tried to gather as much data as they could about the strike Freedom and then replicate it and make it into a more knight-looking Gundam.
Yes, so that is what is assumed, that when the strike Freedom was seized by Foundation, they studied it, they learned about it, and created the Calray A off of it. But this was never mentioned in Seed Destiny. This took place sometime after Seed Destiny.
When it comes to the music, the next scene where Lacus returns home, you see all of these Haros, and her theme song is being played in the background, which is a nice nod to both the Seed and Destiny series that also played the same music. Haros were super cute. I was expecting them to have more dialogue because they were so hilarious in the previous series, but I understand they do have a big part coming up at the end of the film where they rescue Lacus, which we'll talk about more later. But you get the sense of like there's something going on between Lacus and Kira. Like they live together, they love each other, but they're still very individualistic in the relationship.
Yes, they are, and it is nice to hear the music again from Seed and Seed Destiny, Lacus's theme. But as you mentioned, that Kira and Lacus, they have their own roles now, very individualistic roles. So they spend a lot of time apart. So you can tell right away that the relationship is not what it used to be. They try to spend time together, but I think because they spend so much time apart from each other, Kira feels insecure in the relationship. And I don't think Lacus knows about this, that he feels so insecure.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Lacus also feels like she has a burden to protect Kira, which is something Kira is also kind of blindsided by. Like they both want each other to be happy and to love each other, but they do what they think is best for the other without actually consulting the other.
Yes. And this goes back to Foundation really quickly with Orphe. Foundation wants Kigali's and Lacus's and Compass's help. So they ask them to come visit them along with Lacus. And what Lacus finds out from Orphe is that she has a destiny with Orphe. And throughout the movie with Lacus and Orphe, whenever Kira sees them together, he feels even less and less secure about their relationship. He feels instantly betrayed by Lacus.
You would think that for someone who's like literally saved the universe twice, would have some confidence with like being the commander now of the newly formed Compass. But the moment Orphe starts like talking him down, being like, "You're nothing. You're not. You're not destined for greatness. You are never on Lacus's level." Like Kira listens to that, and it's like, "What are you doing?" But you definitely see that there is attraction between Lacus and Orphe, which was shown every time they touched hands. Like Seed and Destiny kind of introduced this like weird telepathy at the beginning between La Flaga and Lacuse, and it's shown also in this film between like Kira and Shin. But with the Black Knights, they're able to take it beyond just a sense, where they can kind of manipulate your mind and read it, so then they can get a better hand of combat and predicting your attacks, as well as like manipulating the things that you're doing, which happens to Kira later on.
Right. Yes, that does happen to him, especially when the Black Knights and Compass try to settle whatever's going on in Eurasia. The Black Knights manipulate his brain and tell him, "Oh, Michael is over there in Eurasia, So he goes over there, he crosses Eurasia lines, which he's not supposed to, and it breaks out into even a bigger situation with the Black Knights.
Yeah, Kira basically becomes a war criminal for disobeying orders, going into enemy territory, and so the Black Knight who set this all up, like they had to plant bombs in civilians to gain access into Eurasia. Then they had to get the nuclear codes for Eurasia to attack the Foundation territory to make it look like a retaliatory effect. Then they had to brainwash Kira to become the enemy that they wanted him to be, so then they could take him out, the Millennium, and all the other Compass pilots.
Yes, and the Archangel.
Oh, yeah, sorry, not Millennium. The Archangel, yeah.
Yes, the Archangel, which has been a constant throughout both series, and sadly, it sinks. The ship has been sunken in this movie, which is really, really sad to see.
Yeah, Team Kira took a huge L. We were introduced to the Haken team from Orb, led by the orange hair
Hilda.
Hilda. And her two crewmates met their match against the Black Knights, which I understand the need for like death to add a sense of like danger and fear for the audience. Like, oh, the stakes are real. I know it felt kind of forced. Like it could have been just other pilots like going along with them.
Yeah.
So like we get introduced to these two guys that have like a line each, and then they're dead. However, the coolest scene comes up with Athrun, who as I mentioned, he was kind of like hiding out in Foundation's streets and whatnot, seeing like getting intel and trying to figure out who Foundation really is. Um, Everyone's getting beat up. The Injustice is getting destroyed.
The Rising Freedom's getting really. It's basically
Rising Freedom was obliterated thanks to Agnes, who switched sides.
Yes.
And so everyone's basically like retreating. The Archangel's destroyed, but thankfully, Mu Laflaga was able to rescue Captain Ramius.
Yes.
And none of the main characters really get that hurt. Hilda saves Shin, and Luna Maria's sister.
Mayrin.
Yes. We discover Mayrin was working with like Atherin's team with Orb, and they were able to like rescue everyone. But Atherin comes to save Kira in the most badass way.
Yes, with the Zegok.
And immediately he starts fighting against the head of the Black Knights, and you can definitely tell that like he's the best pilot and Atherin's the best pilot. You have the Black Knights versus Team Kira, and it's a great battle that was delayed due to the incoming nuclear bomb.
Yes, but throughout all this fighting, because of the incoming nuclear bomb, which Luna Maria tried to stop, Orphe evacuates everyone, including Lacus. So she is basically now kidnapped by Foundation.
I totally forgot. There was a dinner scene that kind of like set up a lot of the future plot with the Black Knights and Foundation. We learned that the Black Knights are actually part of what is called the Accords, which Durandal created to kind of like create the Destiny Plan's process. You know, like they're the ones who will lead the people into the Destiny Plan's future.
Yes, and Lacus is one of those Accords.
Yes. But at the dinner, Orphe is trying to lead Lacus towards her destiny of being his woman. Ingrid is clearly in love with Orphe and gets hurt every time he's with Lacus. Kira gets hurt every time Orphe's with Lacus. And there are a lot of a lot of individual one-sided love affairs where Agnes tries to hit on Kira and gets denied. Luna Maria keeps talking about how Shin's an idiot because he doesn't reciprocate her feelings. Ingrid and Kira and like everyone has these like one-sided love things. And throughout it all, like nothing really gets resolved except for Kira and Lacus's love story.
Yes, that's pretty much it. But we do see at the end that with Atherin and Kigali are still together in some way. So at least we have that.
Yes.
But yes, that is a very interesting theme of love in the movie, seeing the one-sided love and insecurities, but also noticing how love is so strong because Orphe, throughout the entire movie, is trying to get Lacus to join him and put the Destiny Plan in motion with her, but she keeps refusing him, even though he says, "You are my destiny, we are supposed to be together." She keeps telling him, "No, I love Kira," even though he's gone, well, she thinks that he's gone, she still loves him.
Orphe and Lacus, while Lacus is captured, they have a talk about like what is love, and Orphe says like, "Oh, when you love someone, they need you," and Lacus says, "That's wrong. You need them because you love them," and like that hits a chord with Ingrid, but that was one of the quotes from Lacus that I think like really stood out because Kira reiterates that same concept when he meets Ingrid and fights Orphe.
Mm-hmm.
But so Team Kira has been defeated. They kind of get saved and are part now of Orb, led by Kigali. And there's a great fight scene between Kira and Athrun.
Yes.
And I say it's great because throughout the entire series, we know that they're best friends. So when we see them fighting, we know as an audience, like we can relate to that type of like violence. Like two brothers, fighting over something. Kira's insecure again. Oh, Lacus betrayed us. She joined the Foundation. She's going to be better off with Orphe. And Athrun's like, you're an idiot. She's in love with you. You need to fight for the love that you have and realize that you're not alone. And so then we get this kind of like montage of our pilots getting their original suits back, mobile suits. Kira gets the Freedom.
Shin gets the Destiny. And of course, Athrun still has his
Zigok.
His Zigok. Now, Linda Maria, she goes back into the Impulse.
And then Hilda is now piloting Luna Maria's Galguk.
Yes.
The technician or scientist of Orb was able to give the pilots their older suits, and then they had to infiltrate the Millennium to leave Orb and return to space.
Yes.
But as they infiltrate the Millennium, the crew already predicted that they were coming back for the ship.
Oh yeah. They predicted it. They even told Captain Ramius that she's 2 minutes late.
Yes. So I thought that was kind of funny, and like obviously the team is fairly predictable. Like they're going to survive because they're the A team. They're going to have everyone's support because they're the main characters. But it was a nice little scene where like not only do we see that like Captain Ramius is respected as a captain, but the Compass team is very strong together, and they didn't betray anyone, or like they didn't join Foundation. They didn't go against their former leaders now that like Compass has been disbanded or whatever.
Yes, it is. They are a respected team, and even though they could be considered as rebels, because they separated themselves in Gundam Seed from the Earth Federation, so many people in Orb and Compass respect them. So,
Foundation has now taken to space, and they fire on Orb for disobeying the orders by Foundation. Foundation basically was like, anyone who does anything suspicious, like, we'll destroy you. We have restarted the Requiem, which is a giant space machine on the moon that can destroy, or it's a giant space laser machine.
Yes.
That can destroy ships or planets or cities like in an instant.
Yes.
So everyone's freaking out because now the strongest weapon in the series has been recreated. But Kira saves Orb by proving that he's not dead. He finally stands up. He becomes the leader that everyone believed he could be, and he became the leader that they needed him to be at that time.
Yes.
His speech actually made the mother. So like the mother gets upset by seeing that Kira's alive and disagreeing with what he says, so she fires at the Millennium, which Captain Ramius is easily able to avoid. I know I said that like her skill as a commander is shown, but there are little Easter eggs with her maneuvering and piloting that I thought that were really cool for those who have seen Seed and Destiny. They're able to sneak up on Foundation using the Nicole tactic, which is the Mirage colloid, basically just stealth. which is a reference to Seed, Nicole, the pianist. Later on she uses the Madrigal technique of ramming her ship into another ship. And it's nice to see these like callbacks to former characters and like remembering that they did have an impact in the story and the characters' lives.
Yes, they did.
But their escape was actually also very funny because Orb was required to shoot at the Millennium as it was escaping, and the captain's like, "You know what your orders are, right, sir?" And he's like, "Yeah, don't worry, I learned how to miss."
Yes.
And they mentioned another captain from like the Sea Destiny. I don't remember his name, but unfortunately, the movie like name drops people once, and then like they're never mentioned again.
Yes.
Which is a little annoying. Like we don't even know half the characters that were in the movie. Like there's a girl who's next to Izak, and she has no lines. We have no idea who she is if you only watch the movie. It's only if you like search further into like the manga and you do research where you find out her real name and her role in the film.
Right, and that also happens to characters who we recognize, including Andrew, who was part of Zaft, and then later turned. We only see him, but we don't hear any lines from him.
Yeah, but yeah, so I thought it was funny. It's like, oh yeah, I know, I've learned how to miss, and I'm like, are you a stormtrooper?
Yeah, that was a fun scene.
Yeah. But I guess now we get into the final battle, Foundation versus Team Kira rematch, and they set it up really well with Kira using Haros to rescue Lacus, and the Haros have like sleeping gas.
Yes.
So everyone passes out, and the only person protecting Lacus is Ingrid, who kind of breaks down seeing two people actually in love with each other.
You're right.
And so like that was so powerful that like Ingrid was unable to fulfill Orphe's command of guarding Lacus. So they're able to escape. Ingrid gets smacked by the mother.
Or by Orphe.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She gets smacked by Orphe.
Yes.
But then later is asked to join Orphe to co-pilot the Calray A.
Yes.
So I was like, what? But the big battles comes up, and we see that Agnes has joined Compass, and of course it's Luna Maria who's going up against her.
You mean Agnes joins Foundation?
Agnes joins Foundation, and it's Luna Maria who goes up against her.
Yes, and Shin is back in the Destiny, and he is stronger than ever.
He basically wiped out, 4 of the Black Knight members?
Three of the four.
Yeah,
three of the four, because I think Hilda took out one of them.
Oh, that's right. Hilda got revenge, so like that was a nice completed story. She killed one of the Black Knight members that killed her team.
Mm-hmm.
Shin went like crazy and was able to defeat the Black Knights with ease. For all the Shin fans, you'll definitely love this film.
Yes.
We forgot to mention that while Athrun and Kira were fighting, Shin's like, "Hey, you guys, stop fighting!" And they both one punch him in the face,
yes,
knocking him down. And it's not. And then he gets up and like LaFlaga's, like, "Hey, let them fight it out."
Yes.
But... that's so people who hate Shin will love this part, and people who love Shin will love the battle with the Destiny.
Yes, but Shin is definitely, in my opinion, a very likable character now.
Yes, he was really whiny in Destiny, but he kind of grew up a little bit in this film. Like the writers top character without giving him too many lines to like whine, complain, or like just sound like a miserable person.
You're right.
Yeah. But Team Kira had to destroy Requiem, save Lacus, and destroy Foundation.
Yes, and that includes going head to head with the Calray, with Kira's new mobile suit, well, more of his backpack, making the Strike Freedom the mighty Strike Freedom.
So with the battle, Shura is fighting against the Zegok with Atherin, and it gets destroyed by these like spikes. And Shura's like, aha, I finally beat the legendary Atherin. I'm the best. But then the Zegok shell falls apart, and we learn and discover that the Justice was inside the Zegok.
Yes.
And then Atherin went ham and destroyed Shura. And by the end of it all, Orphe and Ingrid are the last two. They sense everyone's deaths, and everyone tried. All the Black Knights tried to use their like mind controlling powers, but they all failed in hilarious ways. So the Black Knights together, or individually, were not able to read Shin's mind. One of them said, "Is he just not thinking at all?" As in, like, he has an empty brain. But when they all work together, they find the darkness that is Stella, the Shin's, I guess, love from Destiny. And she's like, "I will protect Shin," and all of the Black Knights that were in his brain start freaking out. And so they all lost. Then Shura tries to intercept Atherin's mind, but when he does, Atherin has indecent images, indecent fantasies of Kigali, which freaks him out. But then also, Kigali has remote control of the Justice and was able to get out of the way from Shura's attack. And so there's a nice little banter between Kigali and Atherin. Like, they're definitely a couple, but it's not like explicitly shown how far their relationship is. But like, they definitely seem closer to each other than like Kira and Lacus do, despite living farther apart than them.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so Atherin uses like an antenna beam to kill Shura, and finally it's the Mighty Strike Freedom versus the Calray A. And in the battle, it's basically just one-sided. With the docking of the backpack to create the Mighty Strike Freedom, Lacus goes into seed mode, Kira goes into seed mode, and basically whatever Foundation tried to do by shooting like a bazillion missiles and bombs and whatever, they were able to prevent themselves from getting damaged. The ending was kind of predictable, seeing how like Team Kira was going to win, Foundation was going to lose. To me, the biggest thing were the themes, and you had the theme of like, what is love? There are so many instances of one-sided love, as well as conditionality, which is from like Orphe's stance. We're destined to love each other, or we're destined to be together, so love is a condition of that. But then you also have the concept of teamwork, where even at the end of the battle, like Luna Maria and Shin work together, when in the beginning they were told to like just kind of like be back up to the fight. Shin and Luna Maria had that like same interaction, but Shin was like, "Okay, yeah, let's team up." Destiny was an interesting concept, as again, like the Destiny plan really doesn't make sense. It's all good sounding, like, we'll make sure everyone's destined for happiness. There'll be no more wars and poverty and violence and hunger and all this stuff. But the idea with freedom is we get to make our own choices, even if they are bad. And I think that was the big theme that the film tried to like project through the film. For me, I wish that there was a subplot of like plant members who defected from Zaft, and Zirka and Dirk Izak.
Zirka.
Izak.
They're a couple.
I should just call them Zirka.
Zirka. They're a couple.
Izak and Dirka. Izak and Dierka?
I think it depends on which dub version you're talking about. But yeah, let's go with Dierka. It's okay.
So like they have their moments where they get into the Buster and the Blitz, and you know, like they are the ones fighting the defected plant organization. But yeah, like Blue Cosmos Michael from Blue Cosmos turned out to be more of a MacGuffin. The real bad guys were Foundation. And I mean, seeing the film in theaters, the story moved by really quickly.
Yes, it did.
Like, it didn't feel like a 2-hour film.
No.
Everything flowed fairly smoothly. I wish there was more Izak and Dirka, because they were so pivotal in Seed, and now, you know, they're the C story in this film. So it would have been nice to get more of them. It feels like Izak's mom is going to become the new chairman of Zaft, which will be kind of interesting. And rumored is Gundam Seed Justice will be the sequel to this film, as Kira and Lacus set sail off into the sunset. Athrun and Kigali will rise up to be the new protagonists of the Seed franchise. But not sure if that's going to be true. I guess we'll have to wait.
We will find out more because in Japan, there will be a re-release of the movie with new scenes and epilogues, which with each showing, there will be a different epilogue. So once those are shown in Japan, hopefully they will be available online, which we can download or stream and find out more about Athrun and Kigali becoming the two main protagonists. And there will also be, I think the rumor is, an OVA of what happened to Kira's Strike Freedom. When did it get seized? How did it happen? Who exactly seized it from Foundation?
There are a lot of things that like we didn't cover in today's video. Like we could have talked a lot more about Agnes being like
a homewrecker.
Yes, a homewrecker.
Or Flay.
Who actually is voiced by the same actress as Flay, which is, I think, on purpose. But like we didn't talk too much about the plant side of all of this. We didn't really talk about the enemy Gundam suits and like all of the different factions with like the Earth Alliance versus plants versus naturals versus coordinators. The Black Knights were called the Accords, but they're also called the Black Knights. So it's like the only difference is Lacus is also part of the Accords. But, you know, like Kira was later on able to also use like the mind manipulation. So like, did he qualify for the Accords? I don't know. So there are a lot of like little things in the movie that like come and go, and so it's really difficult to like really like stick to one or two of these like concepts. But like overall, I think it was a really good film. I mean, we've seen it 3 times, and we're still getting new details about characters and events, and you know, I think seeing the new content later on in the year will help add to like the experience even more. I just read today, or I just read as I like right before recording this video, that the Gundam Astray manga is going to also have like a new chapter or series that will tie into Freedom. So, you know, like the Gundam Seed franchise is doing really, really well in all forms of publications. And I think Freedom was a good way to introduce new fans to Gundam. It makes them have to watch 48 episodes of previous content. And then they can explore the Eclipse series on YouTube. They can explore the Astray OVAs, the Astray manga, and so much more. I know Seed and Destiny get a lot of slack in the community for being like a repeat from the original mobile series, but I don't know. I'm a big fan. I think it was a good movie. They put a lot of things inside, and they admitted it wasn't perfect, but for everything that they crammed in, I think it was pretty good.
Yes, I agree. It was enjoyable, and each time we watch it, we learn more and more details, and we're able to analyze it and figure out what's going on. And I hope there is a way, as you mentioned, there could be a Gundam Seed Justice coming out. I hope to see more of Gundam Seed in the future.
Yeah, maybe even a Stray movie. That would be kind of cool.
That would be cool. Yeah. That would be cool. Or just more of series, a Stray series. But let us know your thoughts if you have already seen the movie, or you haven't seen the movie yet. What did you think? Leave your comments down below.
And don't forget to subscribe. And this is going to be it for the end of the video.
Yes.
Thanks for watching.
Yes, thanks for watching.
And until next time, remember, Gunpla is freedom.